Kayla Crochet Love and welcome to episode 49. If you're new to my channel, welcome. It's lovely to have you stop by to spend some time with me. And if you are a returning subscriber, of course it's always lovely to have you stop by and visit. Speaking of new subscribers, I have quite a few. I hit over 500 subscribers, which blows my mind. I know I was just below 500 and I posted on my Instagram to say that I was really close, and then I hit 500 subscribers that night, so that's pretty cool. Thank you for deciding to subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. I honestly never thought I'd hit 500 subscribers or that I'd go this far. I honestly didn't think I was going to stick with it for this long, but it's been over 2 years and I'm still having a lot of fun. So, thank you. That's all I can say. I do want to do a giveaway of some sorts. I'm hoping to probably do a pattern giveaway. I just don't know what patterns I'm going to give away yet, so just stay tuned for that. I just have to figure that out. I'm gonna probably contact a couple designers that I know, not personally, but that I've talked to see if they'd be okay with me doing a giveaway of some of their patterns. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I really don't have too much to show you guys today. I have 2 projects, one finished project, one work in progress. And then I just want to touch on something else after that. But we'll go ahead and get started on the crochet yarny stuff. So my first finished object, or my only finished object that I have with me at least. I did make a couple more mug rugs, but I gave them away. So I don't have them. I didn't take pictures or anything. My finished object that I have with me. So I was contacted by an old friend of mine. I've known her since we were 6 years old. And yeah, 6 years old, I think. Doesn't matter. Anyways, known her for a long time. And I was contacted by her because she wanted to know if I could make a hat for her son. He loves dragons, or How to Train Your Dragon, the movie. So she asked me if I could make a Toothless Hat. So I went on Ravelry, and I'm looking at my computer, that's why you see my eyes going this way. I went on Ravelry and I found the Toothless Hat from How to Train Your Dragon, and it's by Sarah Zimmerman. And of course I will link to it down below. It is a paid for pattern, and it's a really cute pattern. So this is my finished hat. So yeah, the ears are kind of floppy, but kind of adds to it too, because in the movie his ears do go back like that. So I think it's cute. I didn't have the exact color of the eyes, but I really liked this lime green look. It just kind of, like, even on the camera it's not showing up as cool as it does in person. Obviously my mannequin head is a little small. I was concerned about the size. So I did a gauge, I checked my gauge, and my gauge was perfect. But I think the size just might run a little big. It is tight on my head, so I made the size pretty much to fit like kids. And I find it a little big, so it's a little snug on my head. So I did run that by my friend, and she said that she's not too worried about it because it gives him room to grow into it, which is true. So I just used Red Heart Super Saver for the black, and this was just scrap that I had. I think it's Caron Simply Soft, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have a label for it. It was just this messy cake I found downstairs in my my craft room. So I really like how it turned out though. I think it looks pretty good, and it has the ear flaps with the braids too. So that's another thing. If it's a little big, she can always tie it up on him. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I thought I was going to have a problem with the black yarn, but I mostly worked on it during the day in front of my window. So our couch sits over here. I'm in my living room today. And we have this big window here, and it was perfect for working with the black yarn. I could see my stitches, so it was great. Because I don't usually work with black yarn. I don't like it. I'm sure most of you would agree. So yeah, that's my, getting hit with the ears, my finished object. So yeah, hitting my desk. I only have one active work in progress. I haven't been doing a whole lot of crocheting. I've been having a lot of problems with my back. I think it's just from work and sleeping. I've been waking up with my head off my pillow, kind of like this, and I don't think that's helping, so I should really get a new pillow. I have one of those bamboo pillows, but this one's pretty old, so I wake up and things just smooshed against the wall. So I think I need a new pillow. But I haven't felt like doing much crocheting, but I did purchase another pattern, and it's the Tubular Trifecta Infinity Scarf by Evolve Crochet. And yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, Evolve Crochet. So it is a paid for pattern as well. So that's it. That's the picture. It's not in color. I really wish it was, because the colors she used were amazing. I wonder if I can pull it up on Instagram real quick. I really like, it's a really long cowl, so you can wrap it a few times. Although the yarn I picked doesn't have the same yardage, so I might have to tweak it a bit, but so I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So that's the same picture from the pattern. I just really like the colors and how it blends together. So I decided to start it last night. I wasn't going to. I had two colors for sure, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted my third color to be, and my husband was down there with me, so I asked him if he saw anything that he thought would go with it, and he pointed out a color. So I was like, well, you know what, I'll just give it a go. If I really don't like it, I can frog it. So it is made with fingering weight yarn though, so it's going to take me a while to make it, but that's okay because I need just a simple project. So the color my husband picked was this gray. I can't remember what yarn this is. I'm trying to think. I mentioned it in an episode. It's naturally dyed. My cake's kind of falling apart. It's naturally dyed, and I had gotten it on sale. I feel like it might be Estelle yarns, but I might be wrong. I think it's like Harvest or something like that. But yeah, so I got this gray, and then I have, this is the one my husband said would go with this. So this one is Essence of Autumn. I've had this yarn in my stash for over 2 years, and I've been wanting and waiting to use it on the perfect project. So I thought this one would be good. This project would be good for it. Colors aren't showing up great on camera, but it's so pretty. So I have these two. I can't remember the name. I think it's Hydrangea or something like that, the colorway name. I forgot my tag downstairs. And then this one doesn't have a yarn color name, but it's the Spinning Spider. So I thought they all went nicely together. I wasn't sure about the gray, but now that I have this caked up, it definitely looks like it'll work. But when it was in the hank, I couldn't really tell. So these are the 3 colors I am using. And I've started with the gray. I don't have very much done at all because I just started it last night. It's a little messy. Oops. I don't want to ruin it. I have stitch markers on it. So this is what it looks like so far. So I will probably check my gauge after I work a little bit more, but I'm also not too concerned about it. Because I already have to tweak it because of the amount of yardage I have, I'm not too concerned. I'm just following her pattern, but the row counts might be different for myself. And I have 2 stitch markers because I kept missing the last stitch. So I have one holding where my hook goes and then one on the stitch that I have to go into. This is a stitch marker from Nicole of Durab Creations. The one bead broke off, but I still like using it. So yeah, that's all I have so far. But I really like the texture. Like, I don't know if you can see it. It's quite simple, but I will obviously link to the pattern for that down below as well. I'm anxious to get working on it some more. And that'll be a good one that I can just leave next to the couch. It's also in my Durab Creations bag too. It's an easy one I can leave beside the couch and just pull it out if I feel like crocheting, and because it's not too complicated. So yeah, and that's my only work in progress. I have to start doing some Christmas stuff. I have to do that amigurumi for my nephew, my baby nephew, but I might have the yarn for it. I just have to look through my stash. I've just been really not wanting to do that. And so I have to do that. I have a couple hats I want to make because I know my nephew last year was wearing that same hats I made him the year before, and they were getting short, like they were going up to here. So I'm gonna have to make a couple more hats, and mug rugs. Those are really easy to make too. I can whip up one of those in about 20 minutes if I don't get distracted by the TV. So yeah, those are my plans. So the only other thing I wanted to talk about today, it's not crochet related, it's not yarny related, but it is me related. As bad as that sounds. I don't know if that sounds bad. It's not just me related, it's something that has to do with a lot of people. So November is Diabetes Awareness Month. November 14th, I believe, is International Diabetes Day, which is the day that Dr. Frederick Banting and his team discovered insulin, which is what keeps us diabetics, well, us type 1 diabetics at least, alive, and a lot of type 2 diabetics as well, and a lot of women with gestational diabetes. Gestational, I think I said that right. So I just wanted to touch on that and just kind of go over my story a little bit, hopefully not too much, but because I've never really talked about it a whole lot. I mention it in my episodes once in a while, but I figured it's Diabetes Awareness Month, so I'd go over it a little bit. So I got diagnosed when I was 17. One misconception about type 1, which is what I have, is that it's only happens to children. That is not true. You can get diagnosed at any age with type 1 diabetes. Same with type 2 actually, because some children are getting diagnosed with type 2. So the difference between type 2 and type 1 is type 1's, your pancreas just doesn't work. It doesn't produce any insulin at all. That's why you have to supplement it by taking injections. Type 2, again, it's a little different for everyone. Type 2, a lot of times you still produce insulin. It just releases slower, so you have to take medications to help absorb it better. But again, some type 2s are on insulin as well. So it really depends. Everybody's different. Every diabetic is different. We don't take the same amount of insulin. Some people take 50 units a day. Some people take 200 units a day. It really depends on the person. So I was diagnosed when I was 17. I was going into my senior year of high school. But before that, I had been really sick. So when I went into high school, I was chunky. I was a chubby... How old are you going into high school? 14? 15? I was a chunky girl, anyway. So I was always self-conscious about that. So my doctor put me on a diet. Nothing extreme, just pretty much watching what I eat and portion control. And I did lose a little bit of weight. And then pretty much that summer in grade 9, like going into grade 10, I was dropping a lot of weight. And I thought it was just because I was eating better, exercising, whatever. So I hit my goal weight, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna keep trying. Like, I'm gonna eat healthy and stuff. I'm just not going to actively diet, if that's what I was doing. But the weight just kept coming off. It was getting to the point where there was rumors going around my school that I was anorexic, that I was bulimic. The only people who knew that wasn't true were my friends, because they saw me eat, and I was eating like a horse. In grade 11, at the beginning of the year, I was about 120 pounds, I think. No, I weighed a little more than that. I would say I was probably like 135 or something like that. So I wasn't too worried about it. And then until my second semester, I was in fitness class, which was, it's basically like gym, but instead of doing like sports, you're literally doing exercises like lifting weights and just different cardio and stuff. I hated it, but it was my only option. So at the beginning of the year at the beginning of the semester, we had to weigh ourselves, and I weighed 116 pounds. I'm a tall girl. We also had to measure like our height. At that point, I was just under 5'6". So I know I'm not like crazy tall, but I was the tallest out of the girls in my fitness class. One of the tallest. There was a girl taller than me. So, and we also had to weigh ourselves, and I weighed about 116 pounds, which once I hit 120 and I kept going lower, I kept telling my mom, I'm like, I'm not trying to lose weight. I don't know what's going on. And my mom honestly thought that maybe I wasn't eating. Like maybe at school I wasn't eating, but she always made my lunches though. So I'd come home with an empty lunch pail, and I'd be filling my water bottle up constantly. So at the beginning of the semester, that's how much I weighed. I had a really hard time in fitness class because I was just exhausted. I felt like garbage. And my gym teacher didn't take me seriously when I said that I didn't feel good. I remember the one day it was cold. I think it was like March or something, and he had us outside running track, and my legs were blue, and he didn't even care. He said it was because it was my own fault that I wasn't running track. I have something to add to that later. By the end of the semester, I was the only one in class that lost weight. Everyone else had gained muscle mass, and I lost 3 pounds. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but going from 116 to 113 without trying was a lot. So, still, everyone just thought it was an eating thing. It wasn't. I was eating like a horse. Me and my friends were going to town to get lunch a lot, or get eating from the cafeteria a lot. Well, that summer, I remember getting on the scale, and I had hit 109 pounds. And I was devastated. My one friend weighed 109 pounds too, but she was a petite girl, so it looked better on her. But me, it was scary. Like, I didn't take a lot of pictures then because I was so self-conscious of how skinny I was. Like, my collarbones were jutting out, and it was bad. And I remember getting on the scale and telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I weigh 109 pounds. I don't know what to do anymore because I'm eating, and my mom knew because I was home with her because I was too sick to work. And so her mommy instinct popped in her head, and she went and bought a glucometer, which is what we use to test our blood sugar. So she tested me, and my blood sugar was at 30. So in Canada we go, I know the numbers are different in the States, but in Canada 30 is really, really high. And no, I was at 33. I wasn't even at 30. I was at 33. So my mom obviously thought there was something wrong with the glucometer, tested herself, tested my dad, and I think she tested my brother too. And they all came back at about 5. Tested me again a little while later, and I was at 30. So she didn't know what to do. She called my aunt, who's an ER nurse, and my aunt said to have me fast for about 5 hours, I think. Test again if it's still really high, because it could have just been something I ate maybe. And if it was still high, get me to the hospital. So I fasted, which was hard because I was so hungry and thirsty, because one of the symptoms with diabetes, undiagnosed diabetes, or when your blood sugar is high, is thirst. I can't even tell you how much water I used to drink. Or even just trying to eat fruit or something to get the feeling of not feeling thirsty anymore. So I fasted, my blood sugar was still high, so I went to the hospital. I spent all night there. So we went to the hospital about 10 p.m. and I got let out at about 6 o'clock in the morning. And it was horrible. I had a migraine while I was there. Thankfully my mom was there, and my dad stayed as long as he could, but my dad was having a hard time. My mom was too, but she's a strong woman, so they actually misdiagnosed me with type 2 diabetes because my numbers were so high. They came back inconclusive, so they diagnosed me with type 2. So I went home with pills to take, and there was this little man in the parking lot waiting for a cab while we were waiting for my dad to come pick us up. And at first he kind of creeped me out a little bit just because he was so friendly, but my mom calls him my guardian angel because he wanted to know why I was there. And as we're talking to him, we kept saying that I was type 2, but he kept talking about his mom or his grandmother that was type 1, how she had to take injections and all this stuff. And my mom's like, well, she's never gonna have to do that because she's type 2. Well, about a day or two later, my doctor called and said, no, she's not type 1. You need to get to the hospital now. So they referred me to a hospital that's about an hour away, and we had to go there, which is actually the hospital I was born in. And they said, yes, you're type 1, you're not type 2, you need to be on insulin as soon as possible. So I literally got checked in and they gave me my first injection. And then I had to go through a bunch of training. So I was at the hospital for 3 days doing training on how to give myself insulin. And then I was back and forth from that town to mine for a few weeks just trying to get everything set up. So at that point I was on a pen injection. So a pen is like a manual injection, but it literally looks like a pen. Like, it kind of looks like this, but bigger, and the needles are just tiny. So my parents had to get trained on how to give me insulin as well. And since I was 17, I was in the pediatric unit. So the nurses were so nice there. The one lady came in and she read one of my books, my diabetic books, with me. And yeah, they were all really good there. And yeah, it was and honestly, I was good. My mom couldn't believe how good I was and how strong I was and how willing I was to give myself the injections, but I can tell you, when you feel as crummy as I did, you will do anything to make yourself feel better. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably experienced your own things like that, so you can understand. So, I had my first breakdown a few days later, when I was finally laying in bed the one night, just thinking about how different my life was going to be, especially going into high school, because I got diagnosed August 19th. So my mom came in and we just kind of talked about it, and thank God for my parents, jeez. And yeah, that's pretty much the story of my diagnosis. It pretty much, as soon as everyone found out that I was type 1 and heard of the symptoms, it's like everything made sense. Like, I was always thirsty, I was always peeing, and you think you're peeing a lot because you're drinking a lot, but it's actually the complete opposite. You're drinking a lot because you're peeing a lot. I know it's confusing, but I had lost a lot of weight. I was irritable, like, I feel so bad for my friends. I was not a good friend, but they all knew something was going on. So, yeah, irritable, just, yeah. I was lucky too, because a lot of people aren't diagnosed until they're really sick. Like, I was sick, but my mom listened to her mommy voice, so. But it was hard going to school. Especially being in grade 12, my senior year. A lot of people didn't know until I had to take my insulin at lunch, which I wasn't afraid to do it at the lunch table. Don't like it, don't look. I was discreet about it still. It's not like I just did it. I would do it in my stomach, under the table. And my mom had called the school, so all the teachers were aware. My fitness teacher you could tell he felt bad for how he had treated me. You could tell that he understood, because there's a few times where I had to go to the office because I was having a low blood sugar, and he was there and he would ask me if I needed anything. So I couldn't stay mad at him. But yeah, so that's the story of my diagnosis. It's kind of a long one. It's longer than I thought it would be, but I wanted to share that with you guys just because of Diabetes Awareness Month. But yeah, I might come on and do another little film, maybe or a little clip Sunday, just to kind of go over some of the things about diabetes, and all the symptoms, because not everyone has the same symptoms and stuff. So yeah, but I thought I'd share that with you guys if you stuck around and listened. If not, I will not be upset. I just wanted to share. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.